My name is Emily, and I always believed I had a perfect life. I had been married to Daniel for 7 years. We had a beautiful home, a peaceful garden, and dreams of starting a family. Every evening we would sit on our porch, sipping tea and talking about our day. Daniel was not just my husband. He was my best friend, the one person I trusted above all. But one day everything changed. It was a bright Wednesday morning when I first noticed something unusual. Daniel seemed distant. He left for work earlier than usual and came home late, always claiming he was caught up with an important project. First, I didn't think much of it. I was busy with my own work, preparing for an important presentation. But as the days passed, an unsettling feeling settled in my heart. Determined to bring back a sense of normalcy, I decided to surprise Daniel with his favorite dinner. I spent hours in the kitchen, making sure everything was perfect. The rich aroma of roasted chicken filled the house, and I set the table with candles and fresh flowers, hoping to recreate our happier moments. But when he walked in, something felt off. He barely looked at me, his attention fixed on his phone, fingers moving swiftly across the screen. "Hey, you're home," I said, forcing a cheerful tone. "I made your favorite dinner." "Thanks, Emily. I'm really tired," he mumbled, avoiding my gaze. He sat down at the table, but his mind was clearly elsewhere. As we ate, the tension in the air was thick. I tried to start a conversation, but he responded with short, distracted answers. My heart sank. Something was wrong. Finally, gathering my courage, I asked, "Is everything okay, Daniel? You seem distant lately." He looked up, seemingly surprised. "I'm fine. Just a lot on my mind." But his tone didn't convince me. After dinner, I busied myself with the dishes while he moved to the living room. I glanced over and saw him typing furiously on his phone. A wave of anxiety rushed through me. My mind raced with possibilities, each more terrifying than the last. Who was he texting? Why was he so distant? That night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, an unsettling fear gripped me. Something had shifted in my marriage, and I couldn't ignore it any longer. Deep down I knew, this was just the beginning. I decided to do something I never thought I would. The fear was consuming me, and I needed answers. I knew it was wrong to invade his privacy, but desperation got the better of me. I walked over to his desk where he often kept his laptop. My hands trembled as I opened it, my heart pounding in my chest. As I navigated through the files, a folder labeled Photos caught my attention. Hesitant yet unable to stop myself, I clicked on it. At the top, there was a picture of Daniel with a woman I didn't recognize. They were smiling, looking happy together, as if they were on a trip. A wave of nausea hit me. I clicked through more photos, each one making it painfully clear. Daniel had been spending time with this woman. I couldn't breathe. My mind raced, trying to process what I was seeing. Betrayal, anger, heartbreak, all crashed into me at once. How could he do this to me? I thought we had a strong marriage. I wanted to scream, to cry, to demand answers, but instead I sat frozen, paralyzed by the weight of my discovery. That evening when Daniel came home, I was a bundle of nerves. I wanted to confront him, to demand the truth, but I didn't know how. Instead, I tried to act normal, pretending nothing was wrong, though my insides churned with turmoil. "Hi, how was your day?" I asked, forcing a smile. "It was fine," he replied, barely looking at me. "I'm really tired. Can we just eat and go to bed?" His indifference stung more than I could bear. I knew that my world had just begun to unravel, and nothing would ever be the same again. I nodded, but my heart was heavy. After dinner, I couldn't hold it in any longer. Daniel, we need to talk, I said, my voice shaking. He looked surprised. About what? About us. About your recent behavior. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. I saw some pictures on your laptop. His face went pale. What pictures? The ones with the woman. Who is she, Daniel? I felt tears welling up in my eyes. He shifted uncomfortably. It's not what you think, Emily. Then what is it? Because it looks like you're having an affair. I shouted, my heart racing. He sighed, running his fingers through his hair. "'Kay, fine. Her name is Lisa. We've been seeing each other for a few months." Each word felt like a punch to my gut. I staggered back, feeling the world spin around me. "How could you do this to me?" I whispered, tears streaming down my face. "I thought we were happy." "We were," he said, but his voice was cold. "But I felt trapped. I didn't know how to tell you." "Trapped?" I echoed, feeling anger boil inside me. "You could have talked to me. Instead, you chose to lie and cheat." "I didn't know how to handle it," he replied, sounding defensive. "I didn't want to hurt you." "Too late for that," I said, my voice breaking. "You've already hurt me." Daniel stood up, looking frustrated. "I can't keep doing this. I need to be free to make my own choices." "Free?" I felt a mix of disbelief and sadness. "You want to leave me just like that?" "I have to," he said, his tone hardening. "I can't pretend anymore." I felt shattered. In that moment, I realized he had made his choice. I had fought so hard for our marriage, but it didn't matter to him. "So this is it?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," he replied, turning away. "I'm sorry, but I can't stay." With that, he walked out of the room, leaving me alone in the silence. I felt as if my world had collapsed. I sank to the floor, crying uncontrollably. The days that followed were agonizing. The once warm and inviting home now felt like an empty shell. I tried distracting myself, reaching out to friends, but nothing could fill the void he left. I lay awake at night, clutching his pillow, his scent still lingering. The memories haunted me, each one a reminder of what I had lost. I didn't know how to move forward, but one thing was certain: this pain would stay with me for a long time. And the road ahead was lonelier than ever.